the season, really. But what do you think is more improbable? Do you think it's their start, the Golden Knights start, or the fact that the Avalanche, by far the worst team in the National last season, now have more points than the Blackhawks and have more points than the Oilers?
That's a good question. Now, as crazy as it is to see the Avalanche in front of the Blackhawks and the Oilers, the Blackhawks last year, second best team in the league in the regular season, they had the crazy sweep at the hands of the Predators, so you think this year they'd be ready to go. And the Oilers are looked at this year as a cup favorite, so it is shocking that Colorado's ahead of them, but nothing comes close to the shock of the Golden Knights in this story. What has happened has just been incredible, but the Avalanche, in terms of what they've done, is shocking as well. But in terms of Vegas, nobody saw this coming. Nobody saw really anything remotely close to this, and that was including thinking they'd have Fleury healthy, let alone them going through 4 or 5 goalies. It's been a shock. It's been an amazing story. Now, it's great for Colorado, too, because, you know, that's a great place to play. It's a great fan base, but Vegas has turned into just a must-watch in a way. I mean, going to these games, I've heard, is an amazing atmosphere. People are going nuts the entire game. The fans are into it. The black unis are great. It's just a team that's been so fun to watch and surprisingly been the story of the year in the NHL. And you think of Gerard Gallant and the way he was let go of Florida, and you think of what he's doing now with a bunch of guys who were let go by teams that technically didn't want them. It's a special story.
Okay, so the question, though, remains, will they win the Pacific Division? Right now, they're in first in the entire West. It also, of course, means they're in first in the Pacific, followed by the Kings, Sharks, and Ducks. That rounds out your top 4. But when you look at those top 4, how do you see those shaking out come April?
I all year I've been saying the Golden Knights have been going to slow down, so I'm done saying it. I'm done sounding like a bozo. It's going to continue. They're going to win the Pacific Division. After that, the Kings and Ducks, to me, are the 2 teams that are really going to battle for that second seed. I'm going to go with the Kings because they're 6 points ahead right now. But then I'm going to go the Ducks ahead of the Sharks just because they're getting healthy. They got Ryan Getzlaf. Corey Perry will be back. Kessler's back now. Cam Fowler and all these players that are going to be, you know, huge difference makers for a team that I think a lot of people thought before the year could be dark horse for Stanley Cup winners. So I like the Ducks to get third in that division.
All right, let's take a look at the ultra-competitive Metropolitan Division. And right now the Penguins are actually in 5th place, 1 point ahead of the Hurricanes and Flyers. But looking at that Pennsylvania rivalry, the Flyers do have 2 games in hand. So who finishes higher, Pittsburgh or Philly?
Penguins, no doubt about it. In my mind, 2-time defending Stanley Cup champ. I was lucky enough to play for them, so I'm obviously not going to pick the Flyers.
Right.
But I think it's Crosby, it's Gensel, it's Kessel. It's a team that I believe will get going. I refuse to think that they won't make the playoffs. And last night's win against Boston was huge. An exciting overtime victory. And I think that the Penguins will get going. I can't picture them not in the scene at the end of the year. So Pitt's my pick to get ahead of Philadelphia the rest of this year.
That rivalry is still strong, right? Even though
oh, yeah.
down year and has had parts of down